You know, here in our theater, at the end of each show, I come down front, I have a little meet and greet with the people who are here in our studio audience. I personally enjoy the opportunity of just having a brief chat, snapping a photo with those who want to come by. It gives me the opportunity to personally thank those who are a part of our show by being in our studio audience. And we got people from all over this great country who attend. Many of them, they come to Nashville to celebrate a birthday or an anniversary, or just because they're fans of the show and they want to be here in person. Last week, one of our special guests was a soon-to-be 94-year-old gentleman who joined the Army in the last year of World War II. Now, I will confess that I've got a special place in my heart for those who have worn or who currently wear the uniform of our military. This gentleman's name was Max, and I try to convey how much I appreciated Max for being a part of what truly was the greatest generation, who saved our country, but these folks genuinely saved the world. Now, I'm aware that my freedom is due to those who are willing to lay down their lives for the rest of us, no matter their branch of service or where they served. I feel especially indebted to our Vietnam veterans who came home from their hellish experience to anything but a thank you from many Americans. And it's why people like Jane Fonda will forever be traitors to me, because while we had men in North Vietnamese prisons who were being unspeakably tortured, she was hanging out with their torturers and providing PR fodder for the communists. And upon their return, many of those who served were greeted with curses and human spit rather than the respect and appreciation of every American. Looking back, the politicians utterly botched that war and kept it going to shamefully ensure that the money being made from building the instruments of war weren't diminished. But that wasn't the fault of those who served, and it certainly wasn't worthy of those who never made it home at all and whose names are etched in the Vietnam War Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. As we observe Memorial Day weekend, we'll hopefully enjoy times of leisure with our families at the lake or the beach, the park or the backyard. There will likely be barbecue, baseball, and burgers, and that's wonderful. But there should also be a time of reverence, reflection, and profound respect for those who paid with their own blood for the freedom that we so often take for granted. Most of those who did the grunt work, the fighting, and the dying were just kids. Many were 18, 19, or 20 years old. Kids hardly old enough to shave or drive. Now, I narrowly missed Vietnam because I was one birthday short of being old enough to be drafted. And when I turned 18, the Vietnam War was already winding down, and the military was trying to get people out rather than to get them in. By the time I was in ROTC as a college freshman, there was an even greater push to sort out those like me to make way for the few that the military actually wanted or needed. The colonel running the program looked at my hideously flat feet and bluntly told me that even if I wanted to be in his army, they wouldn't have me. So I was wasting my time and Uncle Sam's money, and he said, "Don't come back the next semester." Well, so my time in uniform was limited to a college semester of ROTC, a little marching around the football practice field and spending some time on the rifle range. No one ever shot at me, although I suspected the drill instructor, Sergeant Robbie. I think he wanted to, actually. Now, on Memorial Day, I will be away with my family and all my 7 grandchildren for a few days. But I will be attending a Memorial Day service Monday morning and join others in paying our respects to those whose families will not have the pleasure of the company of a loved one who served and who sacrificed for the rest of us. To you who have served or who had a family member who didn't come home, I know everyone in our audience joins me in simply saying thank you, and we won't forget. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.